It's Wednesday night and you know what that means. Excalibur was on commentary with Tony Schiavone and Taz. Chris Jericho's celebration. Chris Jericho made his entrance with the Jericho Appreciation Society. Everybody in the group was wearing purple jackets and pants, including the women in the group. There was no Jake Hager with them. The fans sang along with Judas as usual. The ring had a pink carpet along with some pizzas on a table, and Luigi the pizza wrestler dude was in the ring as well. Angelo Parker told the U Galaxy to appreciate us. It's the mocking of WWE Universe and what Roman Reigns does with the acknowledged thing. Parker trashed Philly for being losers and then told the fans to celebrate the Ocho, referring to Jericho's 8 world title win, 6 in WWE, 1 in U and 1 in Raw. Matt Menard did his yelling promo routine talking about how they got the pizza guy Luigi, so he asked what kind of pizza he got. Luigi said he made a New York City pizza, so the fans booed and Menard screamed about how there was no pizza for the fans. Anna Jay spoke up saying none of them will get pizza as the fans chanted "We want pizza" at them. Anna said that they won't get pizza, but they will get the greatest Ring of Honor champion of all time, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho finally spoke, saying that the fans can't have any pizza. Jericho claimed that he was the most viewed Raw champion ever because nobody knows about the other Raw world champions. Jericho said that it's the start of Reign of Jericho while saying he's going to face the former Raw world champion Bandito. Jericho said that Bandito will blow your mind, but Jericho said that sports entertainers beat pro wrestlers every time. Jericho mentioned Raw Pure champion Daniel Garcia, who was in the ring with the group. Jericho said he knows they have had some miscommunications and some issues. Jericho told Garcia he was an amazing champion and sports entertainer, so he got Garcia this gift. The fans chanted "You're a wrestler." Garcia's gift was a purple bucket hat to match the purple attire. Jericho said that was the look of the greatest technical sports entertainer around. Garcia didn't like it, so he tossed the hat down. Garcia punched the pizza guy. Garcia said he's finally had enough. Garcia wanted to tell Jericho something he's been meaning to get off his chest for a long time. Garcia told Jericho it was time for him to a broken bar. Jericho stopped him from saying anything more. Jericho told Garcia to think about what you're going to say. Jericho told Garcia to make the right decision or make the wrong decision, and Jericho would have to take him out. Jericho asked Garcia if he's a sports entertainer or pro wrestler. Bryan Danielson interrupted before Garcia could answer. Bryan got into the ring saying Jericho was trying to tell Garcia what to do. Bryan told Garcia that he's a grown man and he could come with the Blackpool Combat Club instead. Jericho yelled at Bryan saying that Garcia belongs to Jericho and does what Jericho tells him to do. Garcia told Jericho that he doesn't belong to him and he doesn't have to do nothing that he tells him to do. Garcia asked if tossing a pizza on the ground was entertaining. Garcia asked if tossing pizza dough was entertaining and if teaming with Justin Roberts would be entertaining. Garcia asked if it would be entertaining if he was in a tag team with Bryan Danielson. The fans started a yes chant. Garcia suggested teaming with Bryan against Sammy and Jericho. Matt Menard did his screaming routine saying that for 1 year he and Parker have been watching his back. Then he ripped on Bryan and Menard threatened to punch Bryan in the face. Bryan said that he was told that he could come out there to have a match, so Bryan suggested that Daddy Magic Matt Menard faces Bryan Danielson right here, right now. William Regal was on commentary for the upcoming match. Regal said something like Excalibur can snap, crackle and pop me anytime because he does this weird sarcastic flirting routine. Excalibur mentioned all the people dealing with the hurricane in Florida and elsewhere. Our thoughts are with them for sure. It's scary to see that happening there. They did a rundown of what's coming up on the show. They said Jericho Bandito was the main event. Bryan Danielson vs. Daddy Magic Matt Menard, W/Angelo Parker, Menard with punches. Bryan came back with some kicks to the body and an arm drag leading to Bryan pulling back on the arm. Bryan stomped on the arm. Menard charged at Bryan, who got a boot up. Bryan went to the turnbuckle and Menard kicked Bryan off the turnbuckle, leading to Bryan bumping to the floor. They went to a picture-in-picture break. Menard was in control with a clothesline. Bryan made a comeback with a lot of chops, kicks to the body, a backflip off the ropes and a running clothesline. Bryan hit 3 straight running corner dropkicks. Bryan worked over Menard with kicks to the chest a few times. Bryan hit a running kick on Menard on the floor. Parker pulled Menard out of the way of an attack. Then Menard picked up Bryan and drove Bryan into the ring post. Taz said it was the yambag region, referring to the groin. Parker hit a DDT on the floor while the referee wasn't looking. Back in the ring, Menard hit a powerbomb for 2. Claudio Castagnoli went down to ringside. He hit Parker with an uppercut and Claudio carried Parker to the back. That was funny. Bryan ducked a charging Menard and hit a Buzaiko knee to the face. Bryan applied the Lobel lock for the submission win after 9 minutes. Winner by submission, Bryan Danielson. A video aired about Jon Moxley winning the U World Championship last week, with Tony Schiavone wondering if anybody can dethrone Moxley. Juice Robinson mentioned beating Moxley the last time they had a match and he's hated this guy for 10 years. That match is later. Let's hear from Wheeler Yuta and MJF. Wheeler Yuta went down to the ring saying that they have problems and it's not just because MJF hit him with the Dynamite diamond ring, because he's been hit harder than that. Yuta didn't like that MJF hit Tony Schiavone last week because Tony's done more for this company than anything MJF will ever do. Yuta ripped on MJF for hiding behind things like the Firm Group, the microphone, and he knows that Max isn't going to fight him. Yuta told MJF it was time to come out there to fight so MJF can take the ass-kicking he deserves. Maxwell Jacob Friedman made his entrance in dress clothes as usual, including a New York Mets jersey to piss off the Philly fans. MJF said that Yuta is from Philly, the place where you live if you can't afford to live in New York. MJF asked how fat, old prick Tony is feeling after what MJF did to him. MJF ripped on the fans as well. MJF said that they have been practically grown up in this sport together and they wrestled all around North America, while admitting that Yuta is one of the best wrestlers in the world. MJF said that Yuta made a mistake when he went one-on-one on the microphone last week, so Daddy had to spank you, with MJF calling himself Daddy in that instance. MJF complained about Yuta taking up TV time from the biggest draw in you, himself. The fans were chanting "Shut the FK up" at MJF. That led to MJF saying that Yuta has the charisma of Joe Frazier, who is dead. MJF ripped on the Phillies for not being as good as the Mets, but then said that he doesn't need to resort to that. MJF said that at 26 years of age, he doesn't have to care because he makes more money than everybody in the crowd and everybody watching at home. Yuta said he'll leave MJF in a pool of his own blood on Broad Street, while adding that bad things happen in Philadelphia. Gun Club, who are part of the Firm, appeared with MJF on the stage. MJF told Yuta that he doesn't do brawls. MJF asked if the fans wanted to see them wrestle and MJF said number. MJF told Yuta he'll see him in the ring next week in Dumpy, DC. MJF told the fans that they don't deserve to hear him say his catchphrase. MJF said he's going to go to the Skybox. He'll watch Jon Moxley, and insulted the Blackpool Coup Killed Club and told Gun Club to say the catchphrase. So Austin said that MJF is better than new, and Yuta just stared ahead. Juice Robinson made his entrance first and there wasn't much of a reaction for him. William Regal was on commentary again to support Blackpool Combat Club member, the U World Champion Jon Moxley. That led to Moxley making his entrance from the back part of the arena and he walked around with the fans as usual. When Moxley arrived at ringside, Juice attacked him from behind. Juice whipped Moxley into the barricade followed by 2 headbutts. Juice sent Moxley into the ring with Taz noting that Juice was a free agent, which is true. Jon Moxley vs. Juice Robinson. The bell rang with Moxley hitting a clothesline over the top to the floor. Moxley whipped Juice into the barricade and tossed him over the table at ringside. MJF was shown watching from a private suite in the arena. They went into the ring to exchange forearm strikes. Juice hit some stinging jabs that didn't look that good. Moxley gave him a shot to the ribs and Juice bit Moxley's head. Juice hit a corner clothesline on Moxley. Then he stalled too long with a running charge and Moxley hit a lariat. Moxley tried a move. Juice tackled him out of the ring. Moxley was against the barricade and Juice hit a cannonball attack on Moxley on the floor, leading to a picture-in-picture break. The match continued with Juice in control while Moxley was bleeding on the floor. Moxley bleeding in a match? That's what happens in a lot of his matches. Juice hit a dive off the ropes. Moxley moved and Juice went crashing onto a chair on the floor. Moxley hit a suicide dive onto Juice on the floor. Moxley charged. Juice got a boot up and they did 2 double clotheslines. But Moxley came back with a cutter for 2. Juice got to the ropes to avoid an STF submission. Moxley with punches. But Juice did an eye gouge followed by a powerbomb out of the corner in a spot that The Undertaker did many times. Juice is a lot shorter, just saying. Juice jumped off the top with nothing. Moxley with a kick and Juice sent Moxley into the turnbuckle. Juice hit a Pulp Fiction move similar to Christian Cage's Unprettier Kill Switch, driving Moxley into the mat for 2. Juice went for an airplane spin off the shoulders. But Moxley landed on his feet, leading to a knee. Moxley hooked the arms, stomped on Juice's face, and Moxley applied an armbar on the right arm, leading to Juice tapping out. Moxley won by submission after about 11 minutes. Winner by submission, Jon Moxley. MJF did a promo saying that they are not fighting Ecother because when they are done fighting, MJF may cash his chip in to become the U World Champion because MJF is a generational talent. Wheeler Yuta was standing behind MJF. The fans cheered and Yuta unloaded on MJF with punches. Yuta was fighting off security guys trying to break it up while fans were filming it on their phones. Yuta ended up getting pulled off MJF while MJF shouted that Yuta should be arrested. Hangman Adam Page made his entrance wearing a Dolly Parton t-shirt. Interesting choice. Page got in the ring with Moxley since they are facing Ecother in on Dynamite in 3 weeks. It was simply a stare down followed by a teased fight. Let's hear from Saraya. Saraya got a big introduction from Justin Roberts, leading to Saraya entering to a big pop from the crowd. Saraya said she had chills and said, "I'm back." That led to welcome back chants from the crowd. Saraya said it's been a crazy road for her, saying she's damaged, but not broken at the end of the day. Saraya said that she will create change in this division and she said she was the revolution. The fans chanted "This is your house" to support her. Saraya laughed about how she's so nervous because it's been a while, but you is officially her house. Page said that people at ringside can give her time cues, but she's going to take more time and called for the ladies of U to come out. Some members of the U Women's division entered, led by interim U Women's Champion Toni Storm along with Athena, Sky Blue, Madison Rayne and Willow Nightingale. So they are all baby faces. Saraya said that they are going to make a change. Saraya introduced the ladies saying Toni Storm is finally being used to her potential and is the best champion that she has seen and she is honored to be in the ring. Dr. Britt Baker DMD interrupted and she was joined by Jamie Hayter, Rebel and Penelope Ford. Baker said that Saraya is a shiny new toy while saying Saraya is just a catchphrase, leading to Baker saying her name like the catchphrase. Baker said that she's bled for this company, put her neck on the line, and unlike Saraya, her neck can handle it. Serena Deeb made her entrance. Baker told the other women to get out of the ring because their 5 seconds of fame is over. Saraya said that since she got to talk to Toni backstage, it's so good to have a boss that finally listens to her. Saraya said they decided to make this match a lumberjack match for the championship. Lumberjack match for the U Women's title, Toni Storm vs. Serena Deeb. Saraya was on commentary. Storm grabbed a side headlock. Deeb turned it into an armbar and Storm managed to knock Deeb out of the ring. Storm set up Deeb for a move off the turnbuckle, but Deeb countered it with a crossbody block. Deeb tossed Storm out of the ring, so the heel women stomped on Storm a bit. Then the face women confronted the heels and there's a perfect spot for a picture-in-picture break. The match continued with Storm jumping off the top with a crossbody block for a 2 count. Storm with a German suplex. Deeb countered a move into a pin and then they did a pin exchange with each woman getting a 2 count. Deeb sat on Storm's head while pulling on the arms. Storm broke free. She hit a headbutt and a German suplex. Storm stared at Hayter, then ran the ropes right at her and Hayter tripped up Storm. That was too obvious. Nightingale chased Hayter to the back. Deeb applied the Serenity Lock submission near the ropes. The fans were barely reacting to it. Then a light Tony chant and Storm got to the rope to break it. Storm with a back body drop to get out of a move. Storm went up top. Storm with another cross body block. But Deeb rolled through and applied a single leg crab. Storm got out of it and hit a hip attack in the corner. Deeb with a leg trip into a pin and Storm hit Storm 0 for a 2 count. That was a surprising kickout. Deeb wrenched the left leg of Storm against the ropes. Storm barely sold that at all so they can go up to the turnbuckle for the next stop. Storm got a hold of Deeb by the ropes and hit an avalanche piledriver, or Storm 0, for the pinfall win after 11 minutes. It was a piledriver off the middle ropes, winner by pinfall, Tony Storm. The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn were interviewed by Tony Schiavone. The Acclaimed talked about being the tag team champions. Billy Gunn said that next week on Dynamite it's National Scissoring Day. Max Caster said they'll do the chant all night long. Anthony Boland said that they'll defend the titles on Rampage in an open challenge. Keith Lee interrupted saying Swerve was exceptionally disgruntled. Lee said that Billy Gunn got involved and cost them the championships while telling the Acclaimed they got carried. Gunn said he had 2 words for Swerve: scissor me. There was a backstage scene with Private Party and the Butcher the Blade arguing about something with Andrade El Idolo trying to calm them down. Jose the assistant told Private Party that Andrade is their boss, so shape up or ship out. Matt Hardy walked up to Private Party saying what happened last week felt right. Matt told them to quit and get out of their deal. Matt promised them both that they will do it right. Ricky Starks vs. Eliasm. Starks went for a spear. Izem avoided it and Starks managed to charge at him to hit the spear. Starks hit the Rock Aim Slam for the pinfall win after about 40 seconds. Winner by pinfall, Ricky Starks. Next Wednesday on AEW Dynamite in Washington, D.C., MJF vs. Wheeler Yuta. National Scissoring Day featuring the Acclaimed. Luchasaurus in action. Darby Allin vs. Jay Lethal. Daniel Garcia Bryan Danielson vs. Chris Jericho Sammy Guevara. Raw World Championship. Chris Jericho vs. Bandito. They shook hands, then Jericho did something goofy with his fingers and did a middle finger gesture. Bandito with punches, but Jericho hit him with a clothesline. Bandito sent Jericho out of the ring followed by a suicide dive. Bandito ran the ropes leading to a twisting splash over the top onto Jericho. Bandito sent Jericho back into the ring for a picture-in-picture break. Bandito sent a charging Jericho over the top to the apron. Jericho jumped off the top with nothing, so Bandito kicked him in the ribs. Bandito held Jericho for a delayed vertical suplex. Jericho had his hand placed on Bandito's leg and Bandito held him there for about 1 minute before dropping Jericho with a suplex. Bandito went up top, did an Eddie Guerrero-style shake followed by a frog splash, Eddie's finisher, for a 2 count. Bandito charged. Jericho slammed him to the mat and Jericho kicked Bandito to knock him down. Jericho with chops, then a corner clothesline and Jericho wanted a move off the turnbuckle, but Bandito suplexed Jericho face first into the mat. Bandito jumped off the middle rope and Jericho stopped it with the code breaker for 2 cents. That is not his finisher in you. They went to the apron. Jericho with forearms to the back, Bandito with elbows to the head and Jericho punched him in the face. Bandito gave Jericho a Hurricane Rana off the apron onto the floor. That led to a picture-in-picture break. Bandito ran the ropes leading to Jericho punching him down. Jericho went to the apron, but Bandito jumped off the ropes with a powerbomb for 2. Jericho knocked Bandito down and Jericho hit a lion tamer for a 2 count with Bandito sliding over a bit to get in the right spot. Bandito hit a crucifix bomb for a 2 count. Bandito went for a knee, but Jericho blocked it and Jericho applied the Walls of Jericho submission. Although this was more like a Boston Crab, Jericho stomped on Bandito's head while on the apron and Jericho suplexed Bandito into the ring. Jericho went up top, Bandito with a kick to the head and Bandito hit a fill-away slam off the top while falling on top of Jericho for a 2 count. Great near fall there. The fans were chanting "A Bandito" for the challenger. Bandito hit the X knee to the face, so it was a slam off the shoulder into the knee, kind of like a reverse of the GTS version of the same thing. Bandito jumped onto Jericho's back. then into the ropes and hit a bruising German suplex called 21-plex for 2. Jericho with an eye poke, then he ripped part of the mask and Bandito did an inside cradle for 2. Jericho with a boot followed by the Lion Tamer submission or the walls of Jericho from a high angle, and Bandito tapped out to give Jericho the win. It went about 18 minutes, winner by pinfall, Chris Jericho. After the match, Jericho made Bobby Cruise announce him as the Raw World Champion. Jericho said that the Ring of Jericho era has begun. Jericho said he's going to beat every great champion that's ever held the Ring of Jericho title. Jericho challenged Bryan Danielson to an Raw World title on October 12 at Dynamite. Jericho said he's going to destroy everybody associated with Ring of Honor. Jericho punched Cruise in the ribs and hit a Judas Effect elbow to the head. Jericho celebrated the win while Excalibur kept saying disgusting to end it.